All praises unto the Most High. We're giving thanks unto Thee, Father, for another beautiful day that you have made. It's the beginning of the Sabbath, and we are giving thanks, Father, for you are merciful and kind unto thy servant and to thy people. Now, Israel, today is a lesson that, is one that it's no more than so great and appointed in the right timing where um, we're in a transition of changing of the guards, as I would say. And, you know, now is the time, Israel, for us to start doing our research. It's our time now to start looking at what is true from what is false. Now, we are in a so called new year by the Gregorian calendar, right? Now, I'm really, this is no personal exclusion of any person, but I'm just directing this today, this lesson directly to the Israelites, to the people which forefathers are from the ancient times, which were from Israel, right? And through our disobedience, we were scattered, right? No, this is something that we need to really seriously start considering, Israel, because when I personally start, you know, gaining the truth, I open my mind to know that most of what I've been told was a lie. Because, from reading the Bible and doing other personal research and reading other books which were taken out of the Bible, I realized that we were hoodwinked, we were duped, we were set astray, we were tricked. And this is something that we need to seriously consider as a people because most of what we have been told since we were young till now were lies and lies on top of lies so that you would not know the truth. So now let's talk about this so-called new year that we are in, right? And this is a lesson that I'm going to bring out by doing just using some information which there um, on the internet and also from the Bible, right? Now I'm going to make a disclaimer right now that the information I'm about to show you this video, I was not the I'm not the owner of this information, and I do not use it for any monetary nor any other means of profit, right? This is just for edification purpose only, right? And I have to say that this was put together by um, the IUIC um, body, right? And they did a very great job with this, and this gives you um, a very straight to the point information on why we observe the new year at this time of the year, right? So, with no further ado, Israel, let's actually just start and get straight into it, right? So let's see, what we really know about the new year. When is the new year according to God, right? So, all right, so let's get into it, Israel. No pitching, let's just do it, right? So I hope you're seeing this properly because I didn't go full screen. I didn't want it to be out of focus. So I'm trying to let you, see the information for yourself and you can do your own research, okay? All right, so let's get into the video. So I will be, as I go along, I will be pausing so you can see, you can read it, and I can reference it as well, right? So it says here, right, when is the new year according to God? So it says Deuteronomy 16, right, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib and to keep the Passover unto the Most High thy Elohim. For in the month of Abib, the Most High thy Elohim brought thee forth out of Egypt by night, right? So I have the Bible right here in front of me as well, just to, confirm. And it states, and not only, but let me just read verse 2 as well. For thou shalt therefore sacrifice a Passover unto the Most High thy Elohim of the flocks and of the herds in the place which the Most High shall choose to place his name there, right? So just to make sure that, we're confirming it, right? So this was a decree from the Most High. Okay, so let's continue. All right. So now, also Exodus 12, 1 and 2, verse 1 and 2 explains, right? And the Most High speak unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of the month, and it shall be the first month of the year to you, right? Okay, so it states clearly in the Bible that it's giving you the directive of which month is the month that they should be considered as the first month. Now, as we go along, we're going to get into the direct month which we know to be the month of the first month of the year for our tradition, which is the Hebrew tradition, Hebrew Israelite, right? Because if you think about it, right, that winter is when, if you ever lived or even traveled, winter is when all the leaves off the trees fall off, and when ice and snow comes, and everything is basically what you consider to die, right? All right. So if winter is when the leaves fall off and all these things and the flowers don't come out, they don't bloom or nothing, and that is the time when we consider it to be a new year, then if we should look at the seasons within nature, that does not make sense. But I digress. Let's continue. Okay. Now, according to God, the month of Abib is the beginning month of the first month of the year. Okay. So let's actually now let's confirm that, right? Because we should always confirm information that we get. So just as if I tell you should go and check for yourself, you should do so, right? So right here, I did a little search, and in the Oxford English and Spanish dictionary, right? The translation, the word Abib, right? I hope you're seeing it here. Right? Abib, now it says here in the ancient Hebrew calendar, the first month of the um, man, these words, ecclesiastical year, and the seventh of the civil year corresponding to the latter part of March and the early part of April, later called by the Babylonian name Nisan, right? Israel, you can clearly see. Let me even actually go a little bit smaller. So I hope you're seeing this so I don't throw you off, right? Let me get this small down. Good. So it says right here, right? In the ancient Hebrew calendar, the first month of the ecclesiastical year and the seventh of the civil year corresponding to the latter part of March and the early part of April, later called by the Babylonian names Nisan, right? So we should think to ourselves and say, wait, something no makes sense right here because the information right here is showing us that ancient times, this was the original. Remember, no, the Hebrews, Israelites used to run the world. So they're the ones which had all the decrees and all the what you would say now, the systematical system set up by the Most High to give to his people to show them the proper days and time, right? Now, watch this. All right, let's read down here the origins, right? Mid 16th century, early use found, right, in the New Testament, the original from Hebrew Abib, right? Abib, the month in which the young years of barley are formed. So that the young years of which the young barley are formed, right? Now, example, the month of the beginning of what? Spring. Let's highlight that. The month of the beginning of what? Spring. Exodus 13:4, for example. Go and read it. But you know what? Since I'm here, I'm going to read it for you, right? Because we have to break down the lies, Israel. We need to do our research because the Father said we suffer for a lack of knowledge, right? We don't read and we don't do no research. We take what people tell us, right? And we need to start being more, you know, proactive, right? So let's go to Exodus 13, verse 4, right? And it reads right here, this day called he out the first, sorry, in the month Abib, right? It's right here in the Bible, right? It's right here in the Bible. Nothing is hide anymore, Israel. You need to just do your research. That's all it is. It doesn't even take much, right? It doesn't take much time, right? So the month of the beginning of spring. So it makes sense, which I said earlier. How is it that um we are using January as what the Gregorian calendar is, right? As the new year, right? And really and truly, which it states right here, in ancient Hebrew calendars, which that's what was running the world at that time before they changed it. And why they changed it is because we were disobedient and we were led into captivity by who? The Babylonians, and they renamed that first month, see there, they named it Nisan, right? Just like similar to the car name we know, all right? Babylonian name was what? Nisan. So let's actually go there and show you the ancient name as well, right? So let's kind of slightly blow it up. Hopefully you're going to see it. So here it is, ancient, the Hebrew month, which they change all these names from the Babylonian names. These are the Babylonian names that they use. And there you have March and April. See here? Nisan. Let's highlight that. Oh, I can't highlight it, sorry. But here it is, Nisan, right? Hopefully you're seeing it. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller. So there you go. Nisan, right? And Nisan is between the month of March and April. All right, so let's go back to the, the dictionary right here, right? So as we see here in Israel, we're going to go to Exodus what? Um, Exodus 9 and 31, which it talks of right here. the young years of barley. So from the what? The first month, right? The young years of barley. That's when everything starts to spring up, and that's when you start reaping and all that stuff. This is when we have our Passover, all right? So let's go into it again now. So we're going to Exodus 9 and 31, all right? And the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the ear, and the flax was boiled, right? So it shows you right here as well, Israel. You see there, it's all information is there, nothing is hidden, right? We have to go out and do that research, right? But we can't be playing around and thinking that, your own oppressors is going to come and tell you the truth. You know what I mean? That's not going to work. All right. You have to take the due diligence to find these information, right? Your oppressor is not going to tell you um, about your captivity. And you think about it. I mean, I wouldn't expect somebody who put me into servitude to them is that they're going to come and tell me all the truth about my history. You know what I mean? That's impossible. So let's go back to the video now, Israel. Let's continue. All right. All right. So it says here, see, Abib, an ear of corn, the elect's name of the first month of the year. So you can see here, Israel, as you see corn and everything is springing up. So that's spring, which we showed you earlier, which I showed you earlier. But I keep saying we because it's me and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is leading me right now, right? So, right, the spring would be known as the new year according to God, right? And the month of that year would have been from April, March. So I would stick it down to say um, I would more say it's March. But really and truly, spring, if you observe it, really starts in the beginning of early parts of April. All right. So, but it continues to I would say down into March as well, right? But I would stick with March. Let me say March completely, right? Because February is still kind of February, April, it's winterish, so takes a while before the winter time, So I'll stick it down to say, March. So let's use in that period of time, but it's between that time of April and March, right? Spring. So look now. Let's continue, right? All right. So here again it says and the year of corn, the um, excellent names of the first months of the year. After the name was changed to Nisan, as we was saying earlier. The month of Abib fell about the time of March and early April. There you go again, Israel, right? As you can see, things start to blossom and start going up. Between that time going down to March now would be the time of um, where you would reap from for your first fruits. You know what I mean? Of you know of planting and sowing stuff in the soil. All right, let's continue. All right. So now let's go right back now. So who really came up with this idea of the the um the new year being in what we call January, right? And who came up with that and who was it named after and who implemented it? So we're gonna get into it right now. And if you notice here on the Roman statue, if you notice all these paganic things that you see, the eagle, right? And we can go into the eagle, Lord gosh, and you have here, the sun god, you see what I'm saying? So it shows you a lot of stuff, right? But let's get into it. We're not go too off course, but we'll just show you these small things so we can, point out as well, right? So now it was Julius Caesar, the emperor of the pagan Rome, who instituted the New Year festival on January 1st in 14 BC. Caesar adopted the Julian calendar, which if you know about the Julian calendar, you do your research about it, what I mean? That was, you know, changed in Babylonian days, um, because, obviously we were rebellious again, as I said before, and we stopped using our own calendar and start using, they change it over to these paganic calendars. Now, January is named after Janus, the Roman god, right? I mean, Israel can't make these things up. Continue. All right, so now it states here, as you can see, it was Julius Caesar, emperor of the pagan Rome, who instituted the New Year festival on January 1st in 14 BC. Caesar adopted, la da da, we read that already, right? But he transferred to the 1st January all of the licitious and, excuse me if I'm not pronouncing it so well, promiscuous and unprincipled in sexual matters. So it's promiscuous and unprincipled in sexual matters, custom surrounding the Roman Saturnial, right? So these guys were doing things which were of a paganic celebration. Promiscuous, means all type of, you know, sexual deviancy and, unprincipled, you know, ways of, which would be contrary to the Most High, right? So these are things that, we are doing, well, not we, they were doing at that time, which were, in celebration of this time. So when you're celebrating a new year, you're actually getting involved into paganic activities, which naturally, if we take the time out to do our own research, we can find these things. Nothing is being hidden, Israel. All right, let's continue. Now, in 153 BC, January was also made the 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 month of inauguration, the new council into the power instead of March. So you see, they knew that March was the first um, year. March was the first month of the year, really, right? But they changed it because they wanted to do fit them own thing, because remember they were ruling, the Romans were ruling at the time, so they changed it to fit them pagan things, right? So let's continue. All right, so here we go now, right? What is Roman calendar called today? The Gregorian calendar. Now, as I stated earlier, the Gregorian calendar, what we know to this date, is now what we call, January, February, March, and all of that, etc. So on February 24th, 1582, Pope George the Wicked issued the bull in what is inter Gavistimas, putting the new calendar into effect, right? So in 1582, February 24th, right, they instituted January, right, effective as this type of calendar that now we're using. If you notice here, look on this picture that is here, you can see October, but it's not real October. Him spell it as October, So the names were slightly altered because that was a Roman type, name, the Gregorian type name. But obviously in English they, you know, translate it around, right? So let's continue, Israel. All right. So the Gregorian calendar, right? As you can see now here, it's October, right? So they change around the spelling in terms of English, because the over time, you had the changing of words, just like when they translated the King James version of the Bible, right? They put it in English, but as usual, the wicked them always try to switch up and do all kind of foolishness. Now here you can see, the calendar um, in September 1752 in the U.S. and the calendar, right, September um, 1752, sorry, the UK, which is the United Kingdom, right? And notice, you know, you can see here, which they underlined, um, Wednesday the 2nd and Thursday the 14th. So something here, I don't know, because I know we can do maths and something not working. If you notice here as well, after one there's two, then where's three? But yet after Wednesday should be three. It's Thursday and it's 14 already. Goes to show you, as I said before, these guys, you know, are doing what they want to implement and put in. Now let's continue. Now, Gregorian calendar now, Daniel 7:25, talks about that, right? So, I could go into the scriptures, but seeing as always right here in front of us, let's just read it. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into the hands until a time and times and the dividing of times, right? So they're thinking that they can change, right, times and laws, which the Most High put it, and coming against the saints as well, trying to wear out the patience of the saints, right? Let's continue, Israel. I'm telling you, it's deep, so we need to take the time out to do our due diligence. All right, so here we go now. We're going into Janus now. Janus, as we said earlier, it was named after pagan god, right? So January, the month named by the Romans to honor him, their pagan god, god of the gates, doorways. Well, it'll tell you, straight to hell, the doorway to hell, I mean, the beginning and the end, right? The doorkeeper of the heavens. Not the heavens or heaven, the doorkeeper of the heavens of hell, right? Yeah, that's how we for them heaven there, down into the pit, right? Recognized as the kings of gods and gods of gods, right? Gods of gods, which is the devil of all of the devil, right? Basically, what I mean? But I digress. These people are pagans because they worship the devil. They do not believe in the Most High. All right, let's continue. All right, so now Janus again. His symbol were a porter staff, which is a staff right here, what we're seeing, or vigor and set of keys. So the key them here, and what a guardian of the mysteries which he could unlock. I mean, which is the mysteries they know that is lies and fables. The gold key of great mysteries and the silver key of lesser mysteries, right? So these people have made their own gods. Can you believe that? You create your God and you call him God. Then how crazy is that? That's like me making a piece of wood and putting it up, painting it, and say, yeah, my God, that. And it's of my own hand it make. And it can't talk to me, it can't eat, it can't smell, it can't do nothing. If termite go upon it and start eat it can't save itself. So how is it that that piece of wood becomes a God? It's crazy. I mean, I don't know. People are definitely, these people are insane. Now look at this now. It says here the two-faced, which you can see right here, the two-faced man with a goat horn. It clearly shows you these people are telling you, they're demons. You know what I mean? The Baphrams, which are the Baphomets, I can call them, right? A demon, the Earl of Gate, sorry, the Earl of Hell, with latest 6 legions of demons under his command. You see that? So that is, as we just said earlier, the demons of the demons, the hell, the devil of the devils, them, you know what I mean? The one which he is the one where control all of them, where Mavaluka power over them, right? Which we know to be who we know when after go down in night, right? Because I mean, it's obvious. Now, here we go again. Now, this is Cerebel. I hope I'm pronouncing this properly. All right, so Cerebel, the mother of all gods, um, a Magna Mater, the great mother. Hey, listen to this, Israel. Now, look on this picture here. It shows you. Look at these demonical, you know, things. Look at her crown that she has on and all these things and robes, right? These people are demonical devils, also depicted as the three trinity aspects of the divinity female mother, maiden and crown, right? See it here again over here as well, you can see it, right? These people are literally um devil worshippers, we can't put it no other way, you know what I mean? Especially the Romans, you know what I mean? And it's not changed really, it's just this, because the father said, there's nothing new underneath the sun, right? So let's continue. All right, so now here it says, representing the vigorous aspects of a female power, most specifically that of nature, fertility, and wisdom, right? Cerebels holds the key to earth, shutting her up the winter and opening her again in spring. You see what we are talking about? These people are demons. Right. Now, the rituals of orgastic frenzies, men perform ritual castrations on themselves. So if you know what castration is, like you cutting off your private parts, right? It's crazy. And castrated the priest, donned woman clothing, and assumed female identities. So these men cut off them testicles, it seems like, and as it says right here, because here castrated the priests, because priests are men, right? All right. And donned women's clothing. So they put on woman clothes, right? These guys are homosexual. demons and assume female identities. Which man would want to cut off his testicles and put on woman clothes and to identify himself as a female? I mean, serious? No, catch this no. They became known as the Galilee, and the female priestess held rituals involving ecstasy, music, drumming, and dancing. So clearly, they're doing like revelry and you know, demonical movement, all kind of madness. It's crazy. So it shows you here, Israel, that these are the things that you are actually a part of when you take part in these New Year celebration. It's not me saying these are things which are there. It's not hiding. Now, today, the deity is honored by a number of members of the transgender community. Oh man, Israel, we can't make these things up, right? To this day, you have transgender people, right? Man that change them just like this Virginia where him of it one of Kanye West married to one of the daughter them some another Kyle Jenner or something like same name, right? It's crazy. Look at this now. And is an icon for many pagan feminists. I'm telling you, Israel, it's real. Now look at this now in Colossians second chapter verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. I mean, that that scripture alone says it all, Israel. You know what I mean? That scripture says it all, you know. So we should ask ourselves right now, is it truly the new year what we celebrate? Is it truly of God? Is it God that appointed that day as the new year? If you look in nature, does nature spring or come to life in winter? We should ask ourselves these simple questions, right? You got 4 seasons, right? No, how you go? Autumn, then spring, then summer, and winter, right? So if you notice, winter is the last one. So how is it could be the first, then and it's the last season of the four? Because when you begin with autumn, then spring, then summer, then winter. So you see, if we just ask ourselves these simple questions and look within these things, you can see that it does not make any sense. Same with Christmas, all these holidays, Valentine's, Easter, even birthdays. We shouldn't be even dealing with birthdays. You know what I mean? Because that was not a part of the ancient Hebrew what? Traditions. It was outlawed. You can't do them something there. But because we were disobedient and when we were overtaken, it's just like if I come and conquer you live in a yard in a house and I come and I take over that house. I'm gonna start putting my type of things what I want in the house and take out your things then and put my own identity, my own things in my life, which is in the house. I might keep some of the things that we have, but may have majority things that may have put in with mine. So it's no different when you're getting conquered by other people, right? And we were not just enslaved. We think in this or a certain period of time, we were enslaved in what, four different periods, or more than that, 4 to 5 different times. I'm thinking from the Persians the Greeks, the Romans, coming up to this time, which you'd have this, you call them the unified type people, which they take counsel against, crafty counsel against us, you know what I mean? So we've been in slavery for a minute, right? This is why the name changed from Abib to Nissan, because, as I said before, the Babylonians, and we were carried into captivity, they changed that. They didn't change the month though, but they just changed the name. Now these wicked dirty Romans, them now, look, come change everything. Right? So let's continue, No, it states here as well, the keys of Janus and Sarbel, right, came to known as the keys of Peter. Not the Peter we know in the Bible. This is the Roman people, right? The interpretator of mysteries, the first pope of Rome, right? So Janus was actually the first pope of Rome, and he's the one that included all these things. The Roman Catholic Church, has a lot to play in a lot of these things that is going on in this world right now, Their hands are in a massive of things. Right now, they're going through a lot of stuff because the Father's putting the beating on them, right? And I'm going to go into the Vatican on the next, because I have videos on that, but something else right now, because they're going through, scandals as well right now, and other things. So, that's for next time. So let's continue. Now here it goes. Now the keys of Janus of Cerebella came to be known as the keys of Peter, right? Blah 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 blah. But not the Israelite Peter, which I just stated, but a wicked heathen. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Right. And if I'm correct, if you read Maccabees, I think that name, that wicked boy heathen named Peter was in the Maccabees, but I'm not going to be on. Don't quote me on it. But I think there is a wicked Peter in when you read through Maccabees, right? I think it should be in the second Maccabees, but I'm going to go back through it. I'm going to actually bring out the Maccabees as well. You know what I mean? Which was a part of the Apocrypha, the 1611 Bible, right? That was taken out, right? But let's continue. The keys of heaven presented the power of losing and loosening and blinding. And cardinal is driven. Sorry, I can't see so well when yeah. So the cardinal is derived from the word cardio, which means hinged, right? So the word is coming from an ancient pagan name, right? All right, so let's continue. Now the Pope, as the high priest, has assumed the power of Janus, right? And I'm not surprised, because what it is, it's set up as the church of the devil, right? So when he used Janus now to start the ministry, anybody who come and assume that position, you know what I mean, is known as what? Known as the next, high priest in line. Because you notice they always change the popes and over a period of time, and it takes the assuming position of that hierarchy as what they have it to be, right? Right. And they're saying here high priest, you know what I mean? The only high priest you have is Christ. You know what I mean? No high priest not there, so how them take up that I don't know, you know what I mean? But let's continue. All right. And the power of turning the hedge, opening up the doors of heaven, or the opening of the shutting of gates of peace or war upon the earth. Right? So you see, they must say them open the doors of heaven, but it's the door of hell, opening up to shutting the gates and of peace or of war upon earth. So them can, you know, open the gates, to the gates as well, them call it to hell, because then they're linked with the devil. So obviously them all kind of rituals. And if you think about it, that's what they do. So when these days come about, they actually do open the gate. So this is why at this time of the year, even when Christmas, so-called Christmas, you have so many deaths in that party, or so many mayhem that happens. Even America, Nashville, right? A man bomb up the whole I road for what I do not know. You know what I mean? It has a reason, obviously. And it's bare things. If you look what's going on in even Merrimack, you know what I mean? There's so much um, problems, you know what I mean? And that's what you'd say, no, that's a replica of when Israel was going through that same thing. When Israel was losing its power, they had a lot of infighting in Israel at that time before they got conquered by the Romans. And see, it's happening back, it's reversing right now upon them, right? So you need to do your research, read the Bible, and you'll find the truth. The truth is there, Israel. You know what I mean? So let's continue. So there you go. It's all pagan worship, idolatry. So may I say, vain deceit and lies. I mean, I don't need to go no more. You know what I mean? I could continue with the video, but I don't want to overrun it with time. You know what I mean? So I guess more likely you get the drift right now. You know what I mean? And this was a great lesson done by IUIC, right? The body church, right? So Israel, check it. See here, you know, let's go to it again, right? Abib, see there, Abib, which is known as what? See here, the month of the beginning of spring, right? See there, spring, the month of the beginning of spring. Let me zoom it down so hopefully you can see it. So when you see it, I hope the zoom is not this over focusing, right? So here it is, right? So the month of Abib, right, is the first month, and later called, see here, sorry, let me highlight it, and later called by the Babylonian name Nisan. So it was changed, and then changed from the Julian calendar and to Gregorian calendar, right? All these things, right, to this day known as January, what them are used as the first month, but the real first month is between when? March and April, right? See it here in Israel? Let me highlight it so you can see it again. March, between early March and parts of what? April. Let's do it this way. Right. From March and the early parts of April. See, the ancient Hebrew calendar, the first month of the ecclesiastical year of the seventh of the civil year, right? So Israel, I don't really need to do no more. I'm not gonna go too deep. I'm just gonna show you what I need to show you, right? And that's it, right? And here it is. They changed the name around to Nisan, right? From the Hebrew month. This is when um, the Babylonian captivity, when they changed that, right? So we must know what going on in Israel. We have to be careful what we're putting ourselves into, because we are worshiping pagan worship and idolatry, vain deceit and lies, right? It's right there. It's not hiding, right? Let me blow it up, right? More will see it loud and clear. It's all pagan worship and idolatry, vain deceit and lies, right? So Israel, I hope this was an edificated lesson, as I said, as a disclaimer, I do not own no authority to this information in terms of the video, right? And it's not being used for any purpose of profit. It's just for edification, right? So Israel, until I see you again, all praises unto the Most High. We give thanks unto Him because He is worthy to be praised, right? And blessed Sabbath when it comes, right? All praises unto Thee. So until I see you again, shalom, shalom, one love.